If only people would realize this, we become what we think. And our thoughts are so powerful. It's the thoughts that create our reality. And people just don't realize that. It's the most simple thing, but when you sit in that space and realize that, we become what we think about. It becomes our outside reality. And the problem is people just aren't thinking. You know, you've got your frontal cortex, which is 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Some people a lot less, but 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And this is our conscious mind. Now, we are wired negatively. Again, this is linked with the survival instinct. We're wired negatively. And that means, like, you know, cavemen didn't used to come out their caves 10,000 years ago, look around and think about the networking they could do. They were thinking about everything that could kill them. You know, so everyone can relate to that. When it comes to our survival instinct, there's absolutely no benefit in thinking positively. Absolutely nil. So that's why we are predominantly negative. Everyone can relate to that. As soon as you come up with something you want to do, you'll think of 1,000 reasons not to do it, if you give yourself time to do so. And really, for me, this is like just being aware of that, just understanding that we're wired negatively. 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, we are predominantly going to focus on the negative unless we have some clear direction about what we want to do and what we want to achieve. But we've got to understand that that is created through our thoughts, and our thoughts become our reality. There's only two ways you can affect the subconscious mind, and that is a highly impactful emotional situation. That could be someone getting shot, that can be a positive thing like getting married or whatever it is. That affects and has an impression on the subconscious mind. The only other thing that can impact the subconscious mind is repetition, constant repetition. And in here lies the problem. That's why people that are constantly told all their life that they're worthless, they're useless, then they adopt that message themselves and tell themselves all the time, I'm worthless, I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that. And what does the subconscious mind do?
I just wanted to say a massive shout out to everybody who supported us at Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get the Inspire Change t-shirts and the motivational clothing, but also the new Memento Mori poster, which is a poster that's going to remind you that one day you will die. It's 80 years of tiny little boxes that represent a week of your life. I've got mine shaded up until 30. And one day on this somewhere is a box that I will not fill in. I don't know when it is. And that is why it's the most motivational and powerful tool I have been using this year. So if that sounds interesting, head to the link in the description and use code STOIC at checkout for 10% off.
It's the blind master that listens to the message. It will do exactly what it's told. And once it goes or is impressed upon the subconscious, it has no other way but to come out as form. And that's our outside world. And when you start to understand that, if I asked you to do a picture of the brain, you could probably do a picture of the brain, probably quite funny, but I could probably get the gist it was a picture of the brain. But if I asked you to do a picture of the mind, what would that look like? There is no picture of the mind. Absolutely no picture of the mind. And really, you know, it's a guy called Dr. Thurman Fleet that came up with this. It's called the Stick Man. 1934 he came up with this. And he tried to put into an image of how our system works. We've got our five senses which stimulate our thoughts. Our thoughts come into our conscious mind. And the more we impress the thoughts in our conscious mind on our subconscious, once we do that, it has no other way but to come out as form, which then creates a reaction. And that is really how the mind works. And that's why I'm very strong on the fact that the first law of success is repetition. Because first of all, we have to control the thoughts that are going on in our head. This is why I have to build positive affirmations. As soon as we come up with something that is very negative, which predominantly we are negative, we have to combat that with something positive, something to overwrite that program. And you can't build a new system, you can't change the old system, but you can build one that's stronger, a new system that's stronger. So the more we repeat that positivity and the outcomes that we want, it becomes a super highway, and the old negative habits turn into like an A road. And the more we can work on that, the stronger that becomes. But people, if that goes unchecked, people are just allowing the program just to control them. You know, people, you've got to imagine from the year from 0 to 7, you're being programmed. You have no conscious mind. You don't actually get an analytical mind until you're 12 years old. So that's really a long time of programming. Everything you see, feel, touch, hear, whatever, goes into your subconscious. That becomes our programming. We learn more in those years than you will learn all your life. And to rewrite that program is extremely hard to do, but you can only do that through repetition. And that is what I did when I went into that house 2014. I had to control and change the pattern of who I was. And that is changing the subconscious program. And that is just through your thoughts. Everything is through your thoughts. But how we interpret something, I'll interpret something very different to how you interpret it. You know, some people can look at something and change that to negative. We are like a tuning fork of energy. Energy comes to us and through us, and it's how we interpret that energy that becomes our outside world.
I actually had this experience myself. It's probably about 11 years ago, but I'd never flown abroad before, never been on holiday, and I had this idea I wanted to go to New York, and I'd made it happen, and it was this constant thing in my mind. I was imagining being there. You know, I was playing New York theme songs, and I'd saved this money up, and I'd managed to go to New York, and I was stood in Times Square, and it hit me like this, that I'd manifested this. I was like, that's so amazing, I manifested this. But then, like a sledgehammer, it hit me how powerful manifestation was. Stood in the center of New York, and I thought to myself that every single thing that exists here right now, from the concrete to the buildings, to the glass, to the cars, was some thought in somebody's head at some point. Everything man made was a thought, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I couldn't fathom it. The idea that, whatever you think of New York City, but the idea that was created by thoughts in people's heads was insane to me. And if that's possible, the negative self-talk, how detrimental that could be 100%. To somebody who's just insane.
Yeah, well, you look at everything, look at what you sound, look at what you're wearing. Everything began as a thought. Everything began as a thought. You know, it's just like understanding that manifestation 100% works. When you create a thought, you create a thing. It's already there. You know, and what I say to people as well, you've got to understand that nothing's created or destroyed. It's already here. Nothing is created or destroyed. But life's journey is about being able to clear the things out the way to get to it. You know, people think that, you know, I've got to get myself lined up for the opportunities. Or I've got to wait till the opportunities line up. They're there. The opportunities are already lined up. It's us that we need to line up first to be able to see them. You know, it's like so many opportunities you know, I come across them all the time. Like last week, it was like an opportunity staring me straight in the face. And as soon as someone got me to look to my left, I went bang. And it was like an epiphany. And some people just don't see in the opportunities. You know, you've got to understand as well, we work from energy and frequency, vibration. Everything is vibrating, everything. You know, and that creates a signature, a frequency. And the higher we can get that vibration within ourselves, the better situations we will create in our life. People that vibrate on a lower frequency, they're the people that get hardship and negative situations. But really, you know, I'm all about creating that that energy, that frequency, and making sure that there's nothing in my path that's going to disrupt that. Drink, drugs, negative relationships, all kinds of things. Food, everything has a frequency, a signature. So I'm not prepared to allow anything into my system that is going to disrupt that energy. This is why I stopped drinking. This is why I don't take drugs. This is, you know, why I do, you know, this is why I'm absolutely fanatical about the water I drink. We're 65% water, but no one even cares what kind of water they're drinking. I won't drink water that's out the tap. It's absolute poison. I distill all my water, and then I add my own minerals, natural minerals. And this is all because I want to make sure my vibrational state is at the highest it can be. But really, this is why the opportunities is already there. We just have to clear the path to it. Nothing is created or destroyed. Just imagine what you want is already there. It's sat there, already there. But all you've got to do is clear the path, get the obstacles out the way to get to it. And when you start looking at your goals like that, you're not thinking about something that you've got to create in the future. You just understand that it's already sat there waiting for you. You know, it's like the mobile telephone. That's been there forever. It's always been there. We just didn't have the technology to connect to it. It's like everyone thinks, I've got my phone on me, everyone thinks that that is the technology. Everyone thinks that that is the thing that's so amazing what that does. You ask anyone what that does, they won't be able to tell you. But that's connecting to frequency. Frequency's been there, it's omnipresent, it's all around us. We are no different. We are frequency. And this is why, have you ever been there and you've actually thought, I must give such and such a call, I must give my mum a call, then you get a message from your mum, or she calls. Ever happened to you? Yeah. That's because it's frequency. You're tapping into her frequency. And it works exactly like a mobile phone. I wish if people started to understand that, the potential of who we are, the humanness, our human potential, we are so powerful. But we've lost a lot of these things, and you can see as time is going on now, we're losing the ability to think. You know, they talk about telepathy, this, that, and the other, and some people think, oh, you're mad thinking that. I truly believe that was something that was apparent a long time ago. But all these things are being hidden away from us to steer us away from believing or understanding how powerful we are.
Thank you so much for watching the video. Your support has made all of these projects possible. If you head over to Mulliganbrothers.com now, you can get the motivational clothing and the Inspire Change t-shirts, but also the all-new Momentum Mori poster is available. A poster that has 80 years worth of tiny little boxes, and each box represents a week of your life. Use code STOIC at checkout for 10% off. But guys, thank you for subscribing, thank you for hitting the notification bell, thank you for hitting the join button. All of this, the Inspire Change movement, has been made possible by the Mulligan Brothers family online. You guys are the movement. You guys are our everything. You guys are what we think about when we put this content out. It is your support that makes this possible, and we do not take that for granted at all. And we promise you that we will fulfill the support that you guys have given us. We have 52 interviews at the moment lined up for this year. 52. If that sounds interesting to you, from entrepreneurs, spiritual leaders, motivational speakers, athletes, you name it, we're interviewing them. Hit the notification bell, subscribe, and come say hello to us on Instagram, @Jordan Mulligan, @Mulligan Brothers. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.